years in time, we come right into the financial crisis. The situation was dramatically different then than it is today. And at the time after the financial crisis, a new wave of legislation splashed into the banking sector, made it harder for banks to lend money to companies. As an investor, what opportunities or what threats did this new environment created after the financial crisis for you?
That's a really good question. I think that situation allowed a kind of institutional money dried up. And so it allowed angel investors, mostly for earlier stage company, you'll find angel investors. There are seed stage venture companies. I think the opportunities expanded dramatically for them in that time period because the traditional sources of lending were really gone. And so I think angel investors, there's many angel investor groups across Silicon Valley, across California, more so than in most of the US. It's of course across the rest of the country, but more so in the Silicon Valley Bay Area. And I think those opportunities of the financial crisis led to a growth. There was a little bit of a pullback for a period, just that everyone wanted to understand what was really happening. But then I think it created more opportunity for private investors. In fact, legislation came in where, from an angel investor perspective in the US, you have to be what's called an accredited investor. It means you have to have a net worth of over USD 1 million or an income annually of over 200,000 each year for the last 2 years to be an accredited investor. And they had laws that only allowed accredited investors to invest in startups because it was risky. They didn't want people that didn't really have the means to sustain a loss to make those investments. In very recent period, in the last 6 months, 12 months, they've changed that to allow crowdfunding to happen for startups because a lot of funding mechanisms can be in place that support startups, but most of those people were not necessarily accredited. Now you have a vehicle for non-accredited investors to make smaller bets in these companies. So I think the funding sources are opening up in a way that will allow more people into it rather than less people into it.